Hello, Revive and Thrive women. How is everybody doing today? How is everyone doing? Happy Wednesday. Today, we are going to dive into day 3 of the Antistress Summit. And I'm very excited to teach on the topic of rewiring some of the belief systems you have that are holding you back. So we're going to go into some neuroscience today, and I'm really excited about that. So I'm going to give it a couple seconds for people to join in. If you are here, say hello in the comments. If you have watched one of the Antistress Summit videos already, let me know in the comments. Let me know what you're thinking about the topics and the curriculum that I have offered for you. So if you are new to this summit, I am hosting a 5-day summit called Antistress Summit. And every single day I've come on live to talk about a different topic. And every single topic correlates with what I teach inside of my group program, Burnout to Breakthrough, which is happening this Saturday. We are starting. So day 1 of the Anti-Stress Summit, I talked all about establishing an anti-stress routine and how you can create a routine that actually sticks, because how many of us have routines that don't end up sticking. And then in the first month of my Burnout to Breakthrough program, I teach all about building a resilient foundation, and anti-stress routines are a huge part of that. So every single day in this summit, I'm giving you just a little piece of the curriculum and the teachings that I include inside of my big group program, so that you can get an idea of what I teach, how I teach, who I am, all the things. And then again, we start Burnout to Breakthrough on Saturday. So if you love what you're hearing and you want to go deeper, that's a place that you can do that. So looks like a couple of you are here. So good to see you. So let's dive in. First off, I'd love to introduce myself and give you a little bit of background about me in case you don't know me. And again, if you are here, you can say hi in the comments. If you have seen one of the videos, let me know. If you're watching this on replay, let me know so I can answer your questions, say hi to you, just feel you here. So for those of you who don't know who I am, hello, my name is Cassandra, and I am the founder of Revive and Thrive Women, which is a company that supports women to recover and prevent from burnout, so that you can really step into your true power. And my background, I was in the corporate space for almost 10 years. I was a vice president in corporate for many years, and I did experience burnout myself. So I know that it can be very intense. And I healed and recovered from burnout, really rocked it in my career. I was a VP for a long time, and then I retired from the corporate space this last year and started Revive and Thrive Women. So I'm really excited to be here. One of the things that I'm extremely passionate about is helping women to really step into their power, helping women to become cycle breakers. One of the things that I talk about often in my content and in my curriculum is what it takes to become somebody who breaks the cycle of stress. Because for many of us, especially as women, we saw our mothers stressed out, they saw their mother stressed out, they saw their mother stressed out. And these patterns that we have, such as perfectionism and overworking and never getting supported, and things that we saw our parents model, we tend to pass down too. So I'm really passionate about working with women who are interested in saying, no more, this stops with me. And the Burnout to Breakthrough program is the container that I hold for women to really move into that space. So we take the first 5 months and do a lot of the inner cleanup and the inner work that is required to be a cycle breaker. And then the last part of that training, we talk about how to become a cycle breaker so that we can then pass on a legacy of peace and a legacy of power. Last year, when I retired from corporate, a lot of that was because I had my own daughter, my little baby girl, who's 18 months right now. And that's a big part of my why, and a big part of why I continue to do the inner work and teach women to do the same, so that we can leave a world that is more peaceful for our children. So that's a little bit unique to me. And I wanted to share that because it's a big part of my heart and why I do the work that I do. So let's dive in to today's content. Today, what I would love to share with you is a little bit around your brain, a little bit about patterns, belief systems, stories that we hold on to, many of which were rooted in our childhood that are now sabotaging our adult life. And a lot of these patterns come into play with the work that we do. So if you are somebody who is a perfectionist, and you're checking your emails 5 times before you send it. Or if you are somebody who feels like you need to be a people pleaser and you're saying yes to all of the projects that your boss is handing to you, even though you're at capacity. Or if you're somebody who feels like you are never doing enough, and so that causes you to overwork, and now you're just stressed out every single day. These are some of the ways that these patterns and belief systems can impact our work. And one of the other big things I'm very passionate about is assisting and helping women get to the place that they want to be in their career. And a lot of times these patterns and these belief systems that we hold on to, they sabotage our greatness. They sabotage our ability to grow. They sabotage our ability to choose what we want to do. Some of us are stuck in jobs and positions that we don't really love, but we have fear around leaving and going somewhere else because we don't feel like we're good enough. So today I want to talk about this. And again, in my Burnout to Breakthrough program, I spend an entire month on this, and I spend an entire month talking about rewiring your brain, neuroplasticity, how it is possible at any age, at any stage of your life, which is amazing. And I talk about identifying these belief systems that you have and really making a change. So if you're somebody who has tried a million things and nothing seems to be working, and you've done all of the practices and you've had all the tools and like you still feel stuck, a lot of that is because these patterns continue to lead your actions. And as you know, if you listened to yesterday's live video, your actions become your life and become the life that you lead. So thoughts, actions, patterns, life, it's all related. If you're feeling stuck, you can probably trace it back to some type of limiting belief that you have that is guiding the ship. And so I want to talk about that, and I'm going to run you through an exercise today to identify some of these limiting beliefs so that you can start to create a new pattern around your belief system, and that will change your life. So for those of you who have never heard the term neuroplasticity, I will go through what that means. And if you're here live and you are familiar with some of the neuroscience, and we're so lucky that so much of the science is now coming out and available to us, and we can find these things on Google, and of course, if they're good resources, you can learn so much. So neuroplasticity is the ability for the brain to change and the connections to change at any place or at any time of your life. It doesn't only happen when you're young, doesn't only happen when you're under a certain age. It can actually happen at any time in your life. And there's so much science that shows this. So the reason why this is important to you is because if you have certain patterns and belief systems that you're holding on to that you don't really want to hold on to any longer, you can change those belief systems. You have the power to do so. I will not lie to you and say that it's easy, because it is not, but it is possible. And it is a worthy well to dig, because once you change your belief systems, you have the ability to change who you are. If you are a person right now who believes that you don't have enough time, you don't have enough money, you don't have enough support, you are digging a well of I am not enough. Every single time throughout your day that you think I'm not enough, I don't have enough time, I don't have enough money, that's creating a deeper groove in your brain that is that belief. And you will start to take action on those beliefs by not taking the opportunities you want because you don't think you have enough time to do them, not taking the opportunities you want because you don't think you have enough money to do them. And then that will keep you stuck, and your life will look a way that isn't the way you want. So if we look at the flip of that, if you start to believe and you start to repeat the opposite, I am enough, I do have enough time, I do have enough support, I do have enough money, you're going to start to take action on those belief systems, and that is going to change your life. And that is so impactful. And I have seen this in my life. I've seen this in my clients' life, and I get to witness it every single day when I get these wins from my clients that are doing big things, when 4 months ago, they didn't think they could possibly do anything like that. So the other thing I want to say, ladies, is that this does not have to take a lot of time. If you are consistent and if you are committed to rewiring these thought patterns, they will rewire quickly. It does not require a lot of time. What will take a lot of time is if you do not commit. So some of us have experienced, myself included, with like committing to something and then not committing and then committing again and then not committing. And like that will not result in growth. That will just result in you continuing to be stuck. So let's dive in. Let's dive in. So what I want you all to do is take out your piece of paper and take out a pen. And the first exercise that I'm going to have you do is just to write down the number one or two, if you know two, but the number one limiting belief that you have that you are aware of. And we are unaware of most of them, but typically there's one that like has us at our throat that we know anytime we want to up level, anytime we want to grow, anytime we want to heal, this one limiting, this one limiting belief keeps coming forward and stopping us in our tracks. So common ones that I see in my clients is I don't have enough time. That's a really big one, or I don't have enough support. Especially for my mama clients, which most of my clients are moms, this belief of I don't have enough time is very, very strong. And that is because it has also been a belief that has been placed on us by a lot of programming. It has definitely been that way. And so it makes sense that we have this, right? But we can choose if we want to keep that. Is it helping us? Typically not. So write down what your number one belief system is. Now, for those of you who are here live, if you write down what came up for you in the comments, I can go through this exercise with you, which will result in a unique affirmation for you, which will be incredibly valuable because you're going to get my support here on this call. So if you are here, put into the comments what your number one limiting belief is about your life. And a limiting belief, just to define what that is a belief that you hold that is holding you back. So I don't have enough time is a belief that holds many people back. Are there days in which time is limited? Yes, I can attest to that because I run a business. I've got an 18-month-old. Like there are some days where it's crazy. And I refuse to believe and I refuse to pour my energy into the belief that I don't have enough time because I've done that before and it kept me small and it kept me stuck. So now I instead pour my energy into what is possible. What support do I have available to me that I'm not even seeing? How can I create more time for this project that means something to me? These are some of the questions that I ask myself that you can also write down and begin to ask yourself if you are somebody who is limited by time. Okay. So other examples of limiting beliefs that I see a lot in the women that I work with is I am not enough. And how that can show up, especially in work, is there's an opportunity, maybe an opening becomes available in the women's leadership group, and the application is there waiting to be submitted, but you never hit send. You look at the application, you fill out the first name, you fill out the second name, you close your tab, and like this repeats, because every time you get to the point in which you're going to click send, this limiting belief of like, well, do you really have the extra time to do that? Or do you really have the space, the energy? You're so tired right now. Why do you bring something else on? Like those are the things that again are like taking your hand away from sending that application. And that's a great example of what I mean when I say that these limiting beliefs, they have influence on our actions and our actions create our life. So if you're feeling stuck, I'm going to guess it's a limiting belief. Okay. So write down the limiting belief that you have, that you know is top of mind. If you can't think of one, if there's a block for you, I'm going to offer something that you can do that will help. So think back to the last time that you wanted to do something that was going to require you to step outside of your comfort zone. So maybe this was you going to apply for a position that required more responsibility. Maybe this is you joining a group of people and doing something for a hobby that you really knew would bring your heart joy. Maybe this is applying for a group program such as Burnout To Breakthrough that you know is going to really help and aid you in something. But every time you go to reach out to me, there's like a limiting belief around like, oh, I can't do that. I don't have the time. I don't have the money. I don't have the things. Like these are all really good examples, right? So when you think of the examples, just think of like what's coming up for you in your mind. And that's a way to identify when you sometimes have a block. Okay. So that is the first part of this exercise, is what is the number one limiting belief that you have right now? Now, the second part of this exercise, we're going to flip into a different side, and I want to talk about what you want. So what I want you to write down on the piece of paper is identify one thing that you want, something that you know you want. You've wanted it for a while. It's been reoccurring. So maybe that is a higher salary. Maybe that is a new job. Maybe that is no job at all. Maybe you want to stay home with your kiddos. Maybe it is a career shift. Maybe you're in a career that you don't like and you want to shift into something else. Maybe that's to do the Burnout to Breakthrough program. Maybe that's to go to a monthly yoga session or to buy a monthly gym membership. You know, there's so many examples that I can give you. So I'm going to give you a second and take a cup of water and just write down what is one thing that you want. Okay. So now that you have written that one thing down, and again, if you're here live, you can post these things in the chat and I will help you with what we're going to do after all of this. So now that you've posted the one thing that you want, what are the things that come to mind? What are the reasons why you cannot have that thing? Write them down. So an example, right? I want to pivot in my career. I want to change my career. What are some of the limiters that come up for you, the limiting beliefs when you think that? Like, what is your mind telling you? Like, why can't you have that, right? So an example, like if I want to pivot in my career, maybe some of the limiting beliefs I have are, I'm too old for a pivot. I don't have the time to learn a new skill. My salary and the amount of money I make is the amount that I need to make, and I'm going to have to take a cut in my pay if I pivot my career. I have to support my family and I can't do that and change careers at the same time. So these are all examples, right? So write down the examples that you have for your specific thing that you want. And then we're going to go through one more thing together. Okay. So read the list of things that you wrote down, the limiting beliefs that came up for you. This is another way to identify some of the limiting beliefs that might be sneaky and like hiding under the rug. Is you just think of like, what do you want? And then what does your ego say? It's very quick, right? So now that you have this list of things, the reasons why you can't have the thing that you want, we're going to create another list. And that list is going to be the opposite statement of whatever you wrote down. So if the thing that you want is a pivot in your career and the limiting beliefs that you have around that are, I'm too old, I don't have enough time to learn a new skill, I can't support my family and learn a new skill or pivot careers, then the opposite to that is going to be, I am at the perfect age to learn something new. I have the time to develop a new skill and take care of my family. I can do them both. I have the money and the resources and the ability to generate money in this new career. So those are examples, right, of the opposite. Now, the reason why I'm having you do this is because this is how we start to repattern. This is why we start to create change. Because these limiting beliefs that you have written down, I guarantee they are on repeat in your brain all throughout the day. They often are. And usually if you have awareness, like you probably know that. You probably hear them throughout the day. I don't have enough time. I can't do that. I'm not good enough. I don't think I belong here. I don't deserve this. Like those are the stories that sometimes we tell ourselves over and over and over. And so I'm asking you to identify the opposite, because I'm then going to ask you to repeat that pattern. And that is going to be the way that you rewire your brain. And there is a lot of research to support this, that consistent affirmations, positive, consistent affirmations affirming what you want will lead to you changing the way that you act, which will lead to you changing your life. So it's all related. And I will say one thing, because there is one thing around this that frustrates me when I see out there, and I see it often. We are tapping into this idea of manifestation, right? We're writing down an affirmation to affirm what we want, and then we're repeating it, and then we create, we take action, and then that happens. The taking action part is so important, and I see this part left out all the time. I see so many people that say, just write an affirmation, say it every day, and it will happen. You have to take action. You have to take action on that thing. So if we go back to the example of I want to pivot in my career, but my limiting belief is that I can't pivot in my career because I'm not going to make as much money. Well, if the affirmation that you're repeating every single day is I generate enough income to support my family and to learn a new skill set, you still have to do the scary thing and learn the new skill set. You can't just say it and expect it to happen, okay? But the thing is that as you consistently repeat this affirming thought, you're going to have a change in the way that your brain works. You're going to have a change in the way that you see things, and you will start to act differently, and your life will change. And that's why this is so powerful. So this one exercise alone, everybody, is such a powerful exercise. So please take time to do it. And know that we go so much deeper into this and into the brain and into the research behind this in the Burnout to Breakthrough program. This is one of my favorite things to talk about. I'm so happy that there is so much research now that does support these things in science, because before a lot of this was considered the woo, you know, like, oh, you just think something and your brain changes. Like, yes, there is research to support this now. And so we can get behind that and we can apply it to our life, and we get to see the change. So again, this is a big part of what I teach in the middle of my program. Now, to recap kind of what we have been through in the Antistress Summit, and then also what I teach in the program leading up to this point, is starting out with building a resilient foundation. Because if you do not have a resilient foundation and you try to do this exercise, it will fall flat. You will sabotage yourself. So what I teach you in the first month is like how to create a really solid baseline, how to create resiliency to stress. Because what you might even experience now, if you're in a stressed out state often, and you are even maybe currently you're coming off a stressful meeting, you might have a really hard time thinking about what you want. This exercise might have been a little bit difficult for you. And I do find that with my clients as well. And when we go through this exercise, we go much deeper, and I give one-on-one support as it's a group program like that. And what I find is that if you're not taking care of the foundational things first, this is going to become almost impossible. So that's why there's space. Month one, build a resilient foundation. Let's get your baseline like solid. Let's get your resiliency up. Let's get you to a point where that you can walk into a workday and not feel super stressed out at the end of the workday. That will happen after 1 month. As I mentioned yesterday, month two, I educate you on your nervous system, because you need to understand what's happening when you're stimulated. You need to understand what's happening when you shift into fight or flight, and you need to understand how to downregulate yourself. Those things need to be in place. And then the third thing I teach is how to rewire your brain to get what you want, because you have a solid foundation. You know your nervous system inside and out. And now you get to play around with this neuroscience, neuroplasticity exercises, because you can do it from a place of calm. If you try to do these exercises from a place of fight or flight, it's not going to be as potent. Now, it's still helpful for all of you who are watching this, because you have awareness around this exercise. You can continue to practice it. You can continue to think about some limiting beliefs that you have, and you can continue to create affirmations and repeat them daily. And this will be incredibly valuable for you, whether you do the Burnout to Breakthrough program or not. If you want to go deeper and you want accountability, because you know that you're the type of person who's maybe going to listen to this summit and then never do this again, which happens because we're all busy, that's where you would really benefit for being in a group program with me, because that's what I offer. I keep you accountable to all of this, and I mentor you throughout the entire 6 months, so that at the end of the 6 months, you are a completely different person. And I have seen this happen time and time again. And so I know that it's possible for you too. Okay. So let me know what you thought of today's exercise. Let me know what your thoughts are on this science of the brain. And let me know if you have any questions. Okay, you can put them in the chat. If you watch this on replay, please put #replay and then any questions that you have, and I will come back and answer those questions for you. The Burnout to Breakthrough program does start this Saturday, and there is still room open for people to enroll. We will be enrolling until Friday and then some as well. So we will have some students that will come in after we start, and that is not an excuse for you to wait till the last minute. If you've been on the fence, like, just start on time with us. Start with us on Saturday. You do not want to miss the first training. The first training is all going to be about building a resilient foundation. It's going to be about helping you if you feel overwhelmed at work right now. There's a lot going on right now. I know it can be a tough time for some of us, especially if you are in the tech industry. So just know I'm here to support you. You can always reach out if you're having a stressful time, and just know that this program is really going to be something that can help as well. Okay. All right, ladies. Well, that is all for today. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Again, any questions, put them in the chat, and I will come back tomorrow. So tomorrow is going to be day 4 of the Antistress Summit, and I'm going to be teaching you about feminine power. And I'm going to be teaching you about how to resource your femininity and how to bring that forward, because many of us who work in corporate, which is a very masculine structure, we sometimes hide the pieces of us that are our innate femininity. And so some examples of this are like, if you've ever been told to like keep your emotions at the door, or if you're an emotional person, but you feel like you can't show your emotion at work. If you have a big heart, but you feel like you have to hide that at work and you can't really get too close to your teammates. These are all ways in which we've been, where our femininity has been a little bit shoved down. And when that happens, there is a misalignment within who we are and who are we expected to show up as work. And that can create stress and burnout. So come to tomorrow to learn more about that. It's going to be amazing, the topic and the shares and things that I teach tomorrow. And if you have any questions at all about how to get your booty into Burnout to Breakthrough, just let me know. Okay. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you soon.